Buenos dias, buenos, buenos dias, buenos dias. Good morning. I'm getting ready for the day and figured to make a video to talk about something that I experienced this morning already. Living in community is very interesting and beautiful and powerful. And it also brings up a lot of wounds and a lot of triggers. And so this morning, I was just doing my yoga, got the kid running through, you get the child coming in every so often. When you're doing yoga, you're chill, so you just let the child do what it needs to do. If it's coming over to talk to you, play with you, right? And then I had adults coming through, asking questions, doing things, because we're living in community, so it's always busy. And one of my roommates, who I love so much, one of my community members, we're trying to figure out the terms on everything we're doing right now. He sat down to eat breakfast. And so I was doing my yoga. I had another friend, another roommate, another community member on the couch, and then he was sitting over in the corner eating breakfast. And we were talking about, we're planning a retreat right now, and we were talking about one of the situations we're going through with planning this retreat and working through it, and I was just expressing how I hadn't felt seen by someone on our team, and because one of the community member that was eating food, he was eating, so he was in a very different energetic state than I was doing yoga versus the other woman who was just sitting on the couch chatting with me. We were all chatting together, but it was mostly me and her talking about the situation, and he was just asking questions. And he felt that I didn't feel seen by this other person on our team, and because he was eating, he wasn't in the best regulated state, right? Like he should have been, which we were learning. If you're going to be eating, maybe be alone or with other people eating, because it's a very different energetic shift. And so he was eating and communicating and asking questions and inquiring. And at one point, it just got to this point where he said, you know what, I feel really frustrated with this conversation right now. I'm going to go be alone and eat elsewhere. And that was super, super powerful, because he felt frustrated in our conversation. He felt frustrated in the moment. He felt frustrated. He said there's a lot of energy going on. And especially when you live with a bunch of people and you're working with a bunch of people, like, your energies get very mangled and mixed, and it's hard to know who your own energy is when it's going on. And so that's what I reflected on once he left and went to eat his breakfast elsewhere by himself. We both had time to reflect, and the first thing that came to me was, wow, I'm so proud of him for communicating with himself that he felt frustrated and he felt dysregulated, and he needed to voice that. So he connected with himself to feel what he was feeling, dysregulated and frustrated, and then he communicated with us, and then he took action of like, okay, I'm feeling this way, there's a lot of energy going on, so I'm going to leave the situation. And so he left the situation, and I thought, wow, how powerful is it that he can communicate that he's frustrated and that he needs his own space. Yes. To really be with yourself, even amongst the energy of others. And so then I was reflecting on, like, what some of the last questions he asked, what are the last things that he said, and we took time apart. I did my yoga. Finally, the child went away, because it's also a different energy of, like, running around with the children. It's a different energy. And so then it was just him and I after I finished my yoga. He finished his breakfast, we came back together, he looked me in the eyes, and I said, thank you for expressing your needs, thank you for expressing what you need, thank you for feeling what your feelings. Like, basically what it was he was able to communicate, he was able to feel that he was frustrated, and he was able to communicate that he was frustrated, and he knew that to get rid of this frustration, he needed to go be by himself and regulate. And that was really powerful. And And so then he and I came back together and discussed and resolved our conflict. And what we said to each other afterwards was, you know, it's important that we each got time to reflect away and clear our own energy and regulate our own energy. But then once we've cleared our own energy and we've made eye contact with each other and we think that we're ready to discuss the conflict that has occurred. So it just felt so powerful and magical and aligned to have that happen, and how proud I am to be in a community with men who are learning to communicate how they feel and share how they feel and take up space that they need and go get their own space if they need, and then to be able to healthfully communicate back and discuss. This is something I experienced in my last romantic relationship, was he wasn't able to communicate his needs with himself, so he wasn't able to communicate his needs with me, and so then he just got frustrated a lot, which turned into, you know, anger and fights, and that weren't resolved because he didn't want to talk about it, because he didn't want to feel it. So the fact that this man in our community is feeling his feelings, communicating with himself on his feelings, and then communicating with others and taking what he needs and then coming back once he's regulated. All it comes down to, right, when you're in this busy, chaotic world, is communication with yourself, communication with others, and regulation. Like, we've had a really busy, we've been planning a retreat that's happening starting tomorrow. We've got a bunch of people crammed together in this tiny house until we move to the retreat house tomorrow. So it's just, we're all in each other's space, we're all in each other's energy, and to regulate and take time to yourself is so needed. This was also my video the other day of, like, I really needed to take time to myself in the morning. So that's my morning message of the day: emotional regulation and communication. Felt really powerful for me, and now I'm getting ready to go to the farmer's market and get a bunch of food for our retreat starting tomorrow. I'm so excited. And it's my last week here in Costa Rica. I am going back to the North America the day this retreat ends, which is sad and doesn't feel real, but at the same time, super grateful and looking forward to life ahead, as I hope you are as well. We are living in a beautiful time of creating our own reality faster than I think we've ever been able to do. We're creating our own realities through our present moment, through our dreams, through our visions, through our words. So, blessings, 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 familia. See you soon.